Welcome to the Team Stronger Together video kind of motivation and tips. We hope that this is going to help you get through this challenge. This is probably the first 24-day challenge for many of you. And our goal here is to make sure that you have your questions answered and you take the products correctly, because that is the only variable, is you. My story very quickly, when I came to AdvoCare, I came from a background of health and wellness and a lifetime of dieting. I had tried it all, every pill, every counting program, every whatever it was, I'd done it all. But when I took my first challenge, I lost 8 pounds and 16 inches. But even more better than that, really, was I kicked a huge soda habit. I used to drink 6 to 8 Cokes a day. I had cases of the stuff in my house, and I haven't had a soda now in 2 years. I stayed on product after my first challenge, and over the course of 6 months, I dropped 4 dress sizes and 12% body fat. And I just feel amazing because I am free from dieting. I can eat, what I want. I make good choices just naturally, because my body's getting the right nutrition that it needs. So we're excited for you as you start this journey, because this is a lifestyle change. This is not something you're going to do for 24 days and go back to the habits that you had before, because that's just a waste of time and your money and your effort. So embrace this and take this challenge and get very excited for what is ahead of you. We're here to help you. We look forward to that. So, as we take this 24-day challenge, one of the most important things to do is to track your progress and to see what you're doing and when you're doing it. The products definitely work, there's no doubt about that. The only variable is the individual. And so our goal is to make sure you have as many tools to be successful as possible. And one of those is this book that comes in your 24-day challenge. And by now you've probably had a chance to look through it. But really, it's a great place to start. So one of the things that we find when we're doing this challenge is people say, well, what am I supposed to eat? Where's the menu or the recipes of the things that I'm supposed to go through? You have the freedom to make the choices that you want, as long as it falls within the parameters of the plan. So if you're wondering, well, what does a portion size look like for protein? It's going to show you in this book. So take a look at that, and it also covers the water intake as well, which we'll go over a little bit later. I like to kind of just check stuff off so I know where I'm at. If you don't write it down, it doesn't count, is what people sometimes think. So do make sure that you keep a note of what you're doing. You can also put in here emotional considerations. So how you're feeling. You are going to go through a detox and through a cleanse during these first 10 days, and that might be challenging for some people. So it's important to stay positive and remember what you're doing and just kind of tackle it, one day at a time in that sense. You also have a digital option. There is an app that you can download, and it's exactly the same as this book, so most of us are always stuck to our phones. Go ahead and download the app, and you can find the people who are on your team and the leaders, and you can become friends with them just like you would in Facebook, and you can interact as well and keep each other motivated while you're on the go. But these tools are very important, and one of the most important products or components of this challenge overall.
Okay guys, real quick, I'm going to go over talking about the spark and the catalyst. This is going to be the very first thing that you do Monday morning to start off your challenge. So if you want to, you can refer to the guide. It talks about day 1 right here, talks about the catalyst, or the AdvoCare spark and the catalyst. Or you can also refer to your app. Okay? Either one. So what you do first is get a bottle of water. Drink some down to about a label. There's a trick to doing the spark. A lot of people, they'll take it and they'll pour it like this right here, and it goes all over the place. So what I like to do is I like to take it and fold it kind of like an envelope, and then dump it in there. Just like that. Take it and you shake it. Shake, 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 shake. So you're going to do this 30 minutes before breakfast. Okay? So along with that, you have your 3 catalysts. Now some people get confused and they'll look at it and they'll say, how many catalysts do I take? You take 3 catalysts in the morning. Okay? You take 3 catalysts in the morning, 3 catalysts at lunch, and 3 at dinner. 30 minutes before lunch, 30 minutes before dinner. So, catalyst, and you chug it down. And that's how you're going to start off your day one of the 24-day challenge.
Show you how to take this fiber drink. You can pull it out of your box, this packet right here. And so you'll see that I already have a glass and I have a shaker bottle. However you mix it, that's completely your choice. So we want to get a water. Okay, so we're going to take a water. Now, let me say this. It says to mix it with 8 ounces of water. I'm going to tell you that the way that I like to do it is a little bit different. I like to mix it in about 4 ounces of water, and then I'm going to chase it down with the rest of my bottle. That way that I get it down faster, and then I have the water that's going in so that it'll expand inside of my stomach. And so you can do it inside of a spoon, inside of a glass with a spoon. If you're going to do it this way, you just kind of make sure that your water's in, and then you take this and you pour it in there and you start stirring it. Now the important thing here is that you don't want to let it sit. If you let it sit, it's going to expand in the glass, and then it's going to be hard to swallow. So as you pour it in, you mix it up, and then you immediately drink it down. Now, I like to use the shaker bottle. It just seems to be a little easier for me to do it. And so I'm going to show it to you with a shaker bottle. And so we're going to take it, and you'll see I have my AdvoCare shaker bottle. If you like these, you can get these off of AdvoCare.com under accessories. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to pour it into the 4-ounce water line. So I'm going to open my bottle. I'm going to pour it in right there, about 4 ounces. I'm going to take my, it's kind of similar to the same thing with the Spark packet. I'm going to open it up. Create my crease. I'm just going to dump it in. Make sure when you put your lid on that you actually have the lid closed, or it'll go all over your kitchen. And then your spouse is not going to be happy at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. So once I got my lid on, I'm going to shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, so I get it all in really good. You notice I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time waiting around. I'm not spitting it down. I'm going to shake it up, and then I'm just going to drink it. So once I've done that, you see you do have some residual. So instead of drinking it out of the bottle, I'll pour the rest of my bottle of water back in. That way I can kind of get everything in the packet. I don't want to leave none of it. I paid for it. I want to drink it. And then I will just finish drinking it down. And that's how you drink a fiber drink.
So let's talk a little bit about water and why it's really important to drink a lot of it. We are showing here how much is recommended for each one of us, and Donald's going to tell you a little bit about how you make that calculation. I hear a lot from people worried about going into the cleanse about, oh, am I going to be in the bathroom all the time? And honestly, the initial adjustment is getting used to drinking water when you probably haven't been in the past, because you're replacing your sodas and all your processed junk with water. The importance of this is to flush everything out, because you are detoxing, you're cleansing. So it's really important to make sure that everything keeps moving, and the water is going to help you do that. Heads up to anyone on my team, if I call you, I'm going to ask you where your water is, because people sometimes will say that they feel bloated or they're struggling a bit, and when I say, are you drinking enough water, they'll say, oh yeah, absolutely. And then I'll say, well, where's your water? Oh, it was here just a minute ago. You should always know where your water is, because you should be constantly drinking it. So that's a really important key element, and don't write that off. It's really important when you take this challenge. Well, Adam, speak to other considerations with the water.
One thing you want to take into consideration, as you can see, the amount of water here. She's going to drink totally different amount than I'm going to drink. He's going to drink different amount than I'm going to drink. So you just want to make sure that you do consume the correct amount, and you can always consume above that amount. So one other thing to keep in consideration, when you drink your Spark, that does not count towards your water intake. So make sure that you don't count your Spark drink as intake. You have to count your water out, so you take the correct amount. So in how to do that and how to calculate that up, turn it over to Donald.
All right. So how do you know how much water you're supposed to drink in a day? You'll notice we do have different amounts of bottles that are sitting here. For me, it's easier to kind of look at it as a bottle, and I use a bottle and I calculate how many bottles of water I'm supposed to have. But inside of your guide, it's actually going to tell you how many ounces of water that you're supposed to consume each day. And so what you're going to do is you're going to look at whatever your weight is. And whatever your weight is when you started the challenge. Now, you're going to hear us talk to you later on about how don't look at the scales, don't look at the scales. So we're going to go off of the weight when you started the challenge in your initial assessment. And the weight that was, we're going to take that weight, divide it by 2. And when you divide that number by 2, it's going to give you the number of ounces that you're to drink per day. Now, based off of my weight, I'm right around 200 pounds or so. And so what I've done is I've set the number of bottles of water that I have to have per day. And so this is what I look at. I look at how many ounces of water I drink through my ounces based off of my body weight. And that's how I do it. And it's found inside of your guide. You can see this on your app if you do it on a smartphone, or you can see it in your hand guide. But it's right here. So make sure that you take your body weight, divide it by 2, and that equals the number of ounces that you're supposed to drink per day.
Okay, we want to just kind of go through some of the other tips because we get a lot of questions go through, and through this whole journey so far, you pick up different things from different people who have taken the challenge. So I'm going to start with Adam. He has a couple of things that he wants to share.
One thing real quick that I wanted to mention earlier while taking the Spark, make sure that you drink the Spark down. Don't just keep it as a drink around all day. Drink it down. When you make it, go ahead and just drink it down. The other thing is to see the most results from the 24-day challenge is you want to get out and move. Meaning exercise. If it's just jogging or if it's just walking, actually go out there and do something. Get your heart rate up, just so that you maximize your performance, so you get the results that you're looking for. If you just sit around on the couch and you're just thinking that I'm just going to take these products because they're wonderful and they make me feel great, you know, it's going to work some, but whenever you add in the exercise portion of it, you're going to see better results, you're going to feel better, and it starts a routine, it starts a habit for a healthier lifestyle. When coming off, when you're done with your 24-day and continuing on with the product.
And I'm going to add to that as well. A good time to do that, to introduce your exercise, depending upon your schedule though, but what worked for me was that time from certainly when you start, when you get up in the morning and you drink your Spark and you take your Catalyst, is you've got half an hour really before you need to take that fiber drink. So the Can You 24 workouts are a great thing to do. You can do them at home, literally 24-minute workout, and it will get you going. It'll get your heart rate going. It's a great way to start the day. So just something maybe in that window is a good time to do it. I find personally if I get my exercise in first thing in the morning, then I'm not constantly dreading it or putting it off until later in the day, and then it's done and over with. It doesn't have to be an awful lot. So I would add that to that. So Can You 24, if you haven't got that already, maybe look at that as a good introduction into working out. Donald?
What we found is that in the 24-day challenge, the best results come from those people that do the measurements like in the guidebook, and they do those before and after photos.
Yeah.
There's something about just having that extra level of commitment that says I'm going to follow it all the way through. I know for us that was a big thing, so we started it the right way, and that's how you start the right way, and you follow it all the way through, and not try to be a lone ranger with it. Go ahead and send your coach those pictures so that they can kind of hold those off. I promise you they're not going to send them to nobody else. They're just going to hold them there just in case you need them, so that you can have them back and they can kind of help walk you through some moments if you're having some difficulties and some things. But being able to connect with everybody else, that's one of the great things about the way that we do it, is that nobody's by themselves. We try to do it together, and thus the stronger together is that we do things as a team. And whenever you connect with other folks that are going through the same challenge with you, you get a lot of support, and there's a lot of good advice. And again, the people that do the best are those that commit to following it all the way through, and they start with those pictures and doing the measurements, and they get them in the guidebook, and they connect in the community that we've built, so that we all have the support and the encouragement. So that would be my tip, would be to follow it all the way through. Trust your coaches, trust those that you're with, take the pictures, do the measurements, get connected with everyone else that's doing it.
I think that's a great point. I want to add one last thing. That is why we created the Stronger to Be Strong on Facebook. Talking about connecting, everybody's going to be in there that's on this Gobbler Challenge, and challenges in the future as well. So make sure you get connected there. Check it daily. There will be motivational posts put in there. There will be videos. There will be all kinds of cool things to help you continue through the journey for the 24-day challenge. So.
And I want to speak to that when you talk about motivation. One thing, well, there are several things, but look to that for your resources for motivation. Don't look to the scales.
Right.
I can't tell you the amount of conversations I've had with people who have stood on the scales, you know, day 4 or something and haven't seen a change or seen it half a pound up or whatever that is. Don't let that define your success. That's why, as Donald said, taking the pictures is really important and taking measurements is important, because you want to look at the non-scale victories. The scales will fluctuate at any given time, and then that can derail somebody faster than anything. So I tell people, if you're obsessed with your scales, put them in the trunk of your car, because if you really want to weigh yourself, then you have to pull them out in public and people have to see you stand on them. So don't do it. Put them away where you can't get to them, apart from days 1, day 10, and day 24. Outside of that, we're going to look at the resources about how am I feeling, how's my energy, you know, what do these photos look like, what do the measurements look like, am I feeling changes there? So, you know, motivation is going to come from the support element and for yourself being focused. So don't sabotage yourself, and don't let other people's negativity bring you down.
Hey, real quick, if we can, let's talk about the food.
Yeah.
I believe that a lot of people have questions about the food. What can I eat on the challenge? At least that's what a lot of people have asked me. Do I have to stick to this, you know, counting this, counting that? There's no counting. It's basically, Bianca was gracious enough to create a food list, and it's actually on the Be Strong page, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not there for some reason, I'll make sure that it is there, because it has all kinds of great things that you can combine to make meals. So you're not going to have to sit there and worry about counting this, that, and the other. I think Bianca likes to say, eat until
you feel full, and
yeah.
eat consciously. So you avoid standing over the sink eating. You make kind of as big of an episode of this as you can, as far as enjoying your food. You're fortunate, you're going to get to eat real food on this challenge, whole food. So you want to try and source the best ingredients that you can. I mean, try and be seasonal so that you can really enjoy the flavors of food, because we are moving away from this whole concept of dieting and depriving ourselves from things. You should enjoy what you're having to eat. You should be able to, you know, not feel like you're on a diet. You're just it's fuel for your body. You're eating and you're training. You're not dieting and exercising. Those are kind of toxic phrases that we want to move away from when you do this challenge, because it isn't 24 days and go back to, you know, guzzling Sundrop and eating chips, because that's not going to do anyone any good. This is a lifestyle change, and this is the beginning and the foundation for that as you move forward and feel better than you've ever felt before and become free from that diet.